Hey guys, I'm just gonna make a quick video. This is just a quick testimony basically, just in my life what's happened and how God basically saved me from who I was and who I'm becoming now. So just make it real brief, but basically when I in my younger years, now I'm gonna be 27 in about 2 months. So growing up, everything was good. I always believed in God. I always thought there was definitely a God. My grandfather was a pastor, and I remember probably around like maybe 8 or 9, I was gonna say he would talk to God and stuff about me. And he one day I was in his kitchen, I remember, and we were actually talking about, he said that did a prayer for me. He basically was saying like how Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, and like, do you accept Him as your Lord and Savior? And I did at the time, and I didn't know too much about it. I was pretty young, and it's a pretty vague memory, I will be honest with you. And then I remember he had his wife actually at the time. She wasn't my grandmother, but she's a really nice lady. She was also a minister, or I guess they're both ministers, maybe not a pastor. They're traveling ministers, and they went around the country and stuff, and they preached the gospel and trying to help a bunch of people. I remember even when he was younger, my whole family would tell me how stories of pretty much every dollar he had, he would give to a little less fortunate, and that's how he ended up getting a divorce. My grandmother actually is because he was too devoted to God, pretty much. She tried the best she could to be on the same page as him, but unfortunately it didn't work out for them. And she found someone new, and he found someone new, and it worked out for the best. And they had two great kids, and then she had another kid with another guy. But so, anyways, having said that, going into my teenage years, everything was good. I had very good upbringing. I had both my parents in my life. I was an only child until I was 12, maybe 13, and then from maybe about 14 is when I started getting into trouble. So, I was the only child. My parents were real cool, real laid back. I could pretty much do what I wanted. I never really got in trouble. So, but I started hanging out with the wrong people. I remember it was 8th grade going into 9th grade, started drinking, started smoking. And then maybe like 15 or 16, starting in the pill area, like whatever, ecstasy and a little bit of painkillers, Xanax, stuff like that. And maybe 16, 17, got into like, cocaine a little bit. It wasn't really for me. It's just the hard drugs really weren't for me. But then when I was 18, started to get bad. I got into painkillers pretty bad. All my friends were on pretty much heroin, and I was the only one who really wasn't, because I didn't want to do the needles, and I wanted to come back, and I always thought there was a God. So, I knew I had a little bit of a problem, but I was sticking to the painkillers, and I tried to get away from it. So I moved away, I live in Iowa. I went to Wisconsin for a little bit, was sober for about 2 years, and then came back, and then hit it right back strong. I found a girl, we were together, just recently we actually split up. We were together almost for 7 years, and she was with me the whole time, real good girl. She was sober. I mean, she would maybe drink a little bit or something like that, but other than that, she was very good. She believed in God too, but it wasn't, we were both kind of like, we knew there's a higher power, but it wasn't super religious or anything like that, not as spiritual as I am now. But so pretty much I got into painkillers real bad. My best friend, he was on them horribly. At first we were just taking him here and there to have fun. We live in, a small town in Iowa. There's nothing to do here besides honestly drink and hang out and get in trouble. Like, we have nothing. We got a bar in almost every corner, it seems like, and it's just not a lot of places to go or things to do, really. You can eat food and drink, that's about it here. And then it's Iowa, we got corn, that's about it. But other than that, so we did that, got into the painkillers, did that for a while, and then I was always open about it, though. I told my girlfriend and stuff like that, and I wanted to get off it. I tried. Everyone takes breaks. You say you're gonna quit, and you don't really quit. I mean, at least for me, painkillers are one of those things where if you find your drug of choice, you are gonna do that drug, and you are gonna try to hit the high score. I'm one of those people that if I'm in it to win it. I'm either all in or I'm not doing it. So unfortunately, that can be positive or negative, and I was using it negatively. But so I was doing that, and now, yeah, like I said, I'm 27, and a couple times it got me in trouble. I went to jail, and then it was my first charge. Luckily, I never got in trouble for it, and it was just 2 small pills. So other than that, I didn't get like a felony or anything like that, so I was blessed, and I actually got to go home. I didn't have to go crazy a long time in jail or anything like that. God bless me, and right there should have been a turning point. I remember laying in bed and thinking, wow, there is a guy, I dodged a bullet. And then, I felt so low and so rock bottom. You'd think you'd turn around, but I was pretty deep into it. So that day, I remember I took like a week off of work, spent a bunch of money, and kept doing them, and bought like an Xbox or something. I can't remember what time the system was out, but so played games and took painkillers with my friends and stuff. The dumbest thing ever, but so after that, still with my girl, we're arguing and stuff like that, a little bit here and there. She wants to take the next level, have kids and stuff like that. And I already know as a man, I'm like, there's no way. I'm an addict. I cannot bring a child in this world, and I'm not gonna be selfish and do that and have my kid and be around that. So as time went on, we just had our differences, and we just ended up splitting them not too long ago, and that was maybe 6 months ago at this time. And then, so long story short, about all that is like everything was good. We were cool up until I started doing the pills and stuff, and then it got worse. And then she was kind of like a crossroads. Like, all right, he's not going anywhere. He's spending all his money on pills. He's not coming to family events. Doesn't want kids. She did the best she could, but she had to bail. I don't blame her. It is what it is. And then I pretty much was at the point where I didn't really care if I wanted to live for a good chunk of time. I'd say probably a couple years. I've been in multiple car crashes where it's embarrassing, but I was never driving. I never have driven really. I just now got my license. Literally my whole life never drove. Just fear driving, and I've been in so many car crashes. I had friends. I think I've been in 6 now, and in that amount of time, cars have rolled over. Like just going 80 on the highway, flipping the car multiple times, stuff like that. Like totaled the car. My girlfriend was in her car. All my friends' cars. So I was just like, all right, God does not want me in a vehicle. That's what I learned from that. And then, I finally got to the point when she left, and I lost my job and stuff with COVID and everything like that. And I've been doing pills for so long. It seems like like 8 years, and that doesn't sound like a long time. I mean, it is, but I'm only 26. So that's a good chunk of my youth, just doing pills and drinking, smoking, doing, mainly it was the pills though. But so from that, basically, I remember I told my mom, I was starting to think kind of weird. I didn't want to be here anymore, and I'm not gonna take the route of taking myself out. That's not I understand it's not the right route. So I understand. I've been there. So if you're going through that, it does get better. I promise you that, because I did not want to wake up multiple times. I just was praying almost to just not wake up. I was like, hey, I don't want to go to hell, but where I'm living in this mind frame, it's not very good. And I lost my girlfriend, my job. I didn't hang out with too many people because they were all doing the drugs and all doing whatever. So I'm finally trying to get out, right? And then I kept having it in my spirit from God, just be honest, and so I pretty much owned up to everything I did. Told my mom, I've pretty much drug problem. I'm not gonna make it. Like, we have to go to the hospital. Like, I have to turn myself into either rehab or something like that, or I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be around. So I got committed, and now because of COVID and everything, I'm in like an outpatient program for the rehab or whatever. But it's going good. I've been 6 months clean. I smoked like pot maybe a handful of times, but other than that, maybe drank a couple of times. Other than that, I'm trying to. No, I don't really smoke pot at all. I'm done. I'm convicted. God told me that, and the drinking and stuff. But how this all transpired is, so when I hit that rock bottom, I didn't want to be here anymore. Multiple times God would talk to me. Like, I did quit. I remember it was like 7 months I quit the pills or whatever. In between that whole era, maybe like I was 23 or something like that. And during that time, basically God would talk to me. I know for a fact there's a God. You can't tell me otherwise, because I wanted to go. I almost died, all that stuff, and I'd feel in my spirit, like conscience, all that. And basically he just kept saying, like, just those things you have to do. Stop doing the drugs, but you know just pay more attention to your family, be around people, help those less fortunate. Because I've always been a good person. Even during the height of when I was doing drugs, I was never stealing, never stole from any of my friends, nobody. I would spend my own money, and that's bad. I would be doing pills. I'm not advocating it, but I'm just saying I wasn't one of those guys that was breaking into houses or selling stuff or doing people bogus. Anyone, if you know me, I'll give you the shirt off my back. I don't care who you are. I've done pretty much. There's very small people that I have confrontation with, and usually it's on their behalf, or small things when I was really childish and people hold grudges, other than that. But yeah, God would be talking to me and basically just convicting me. And I had a day where I remember I was really dying off drugs, like painkillers. I was so bad detoxing, and it was like I didn't eat for like a couple days, and going through the detox, like, if anyone knows anything about the detox of drugs, of painkillers, like, it's like the worst flu you've ever had, with chronic depression and anxiety, and I already have that. So all that combined, I remember it was like a fast almost, because I couldn't eat. I didn't feel good. I just drank water and Pedialyte, and then I remember I just told God, like, hey, I want to change, and if there is, if you are there, Jesus Christ, like, please show me, because I don't know what's right anymore, and I know this isn't the right path, and there's so many other people say how many gods and religions there are, and I just didn't know what was the right one. I'm not trying to offend anyone or do the wrong thing, but in my heart, Jesus Christ, basically, he would show me signs, and by that, like, I remember I was looking through YouTube, and I was at my friend's house, and when I was in Madison, Wisconsin, and everyone was asleep. It was like 5 in the morning, and I was scrolling down, and there was like, actually, this guy looked just like my grandfather when he was younger, and he was talking about how he was actually a Satanist, and he like did all this stuff. He actually like was in the army, and he actually self-defense or killed somebody and stuff like this a long time ago. His name, I'm trying to think what his name was. I'll get back to it or make it another video. But basically, he said how he was a Satanist and all this stuff happened. He did the rituals. His parents were into all that, the witchcraft and stuff. And he was in like this little shop that he owned, and it was like kind of like a witchcraft shop or whatever. He'd sell like all like the tarot cards and all that stuff. And I guess a pastor came into his life, came to that place. It was just for him. He's talking to God, and the guy brought him out of it. Like, he talked to him, and then I guess the guy, the original guy who owned the shop, told to like the pastor, get out of my shop, and was like swearing at him and stuff. And the guy kept convicting him and talking to him, the pastor. And then he said that he walked home that day. The pastor left, and then he that night he did talk to God. He basically prayed and was like, I want to give this a shot. And I would know right from wrong, because he knew that the devil's obviously powerful, because he did witchcraft and all that stuff. And there's two energies, and then so he's tried the bad realm, and now he wants to go the good realm. And then he said it was like, it changed his life, and he had to go through a really long transformation, but it worked out, and it changed his life. And I'm thinking, I didn't even go through like half as bad as stuff he went through, and if he can do it, and I was like, there's got to be something out there, because if you're so devoted, your parents are into it, all your friends are into it, you made your whole life, like, he didn't change till I was like his 30s. And he changed, and he looked just like my grandfather. My grandfather passed away at 64 from Parkinson's. He was healthy his whole life, didn't do drugs and stuff, and basically it was just like, it was God taking him early, like, just basically I think he served his purpose here, and, God wanted him home. And it's funny, 64 is my favorite number. My grandfather passed on that, which, isn't very ideal, but so from there on, I started reading and praying and reading the Bible a lot, just thinking about it. And I don't like want to really talk about like myself. I don't even care at all. Like, I want it all to be focus on Jesus Christ. And that's the thing, is I didn't even want to make videos or anything like that, because I'm a fairly shy person, and I don't want it to be about me. Is I wanted to glorify him and less than me. I honestly, if I could, I would just continue to try to be as good as I can, lay low key, not talk to too many people. But things are getting bad in the world, okay? It is the end times. Like, if you read Revelation, I don't care what you believe in, read the Revelation, give it a shot. It's like, give God the time of day. And that's the thing, is like, you can't tell me what's going on with COVID and all this stuff, and the mark of the beast will be coming soon, and we're going to be at a spot where you have to pick a side. There's earthquakes in diverse places, there's famine, there's just all this wicked, like, people are dying at a high rate, drug use, it's all this lust and sexual, like, sin, and outside of marriage, and drug use, like, it's just everything, fires in California all over the place. It's just the weather's wacky, everything. It's like 2020 has been a weird year, and that really snapped me out of it. And I know it's been a kind of long video, but I basically just want to say that Jesus Christ is out there, and he's waiting for you, and you need to give him a shot.